The sky cracked open with thunder, even though there were no clouds. Commander Ray Carter didn't flinch. He had seen stranger things on this dying alien moon. His boots sank slightly in the reddish soil as he stared at the giant ruins before him. The alien war had ended a week ago, but he stayed behind to investigate the ruins. The others thought he was wasting time, but something had called him here. In his dreams he saw a golden glow deep under the old temple. A whisper that said, "Find me." Ray didn't believe in ghosts, but he believed in his gut, and right now, it told him to go inside. He took his plasma torch and stepped through the cracked stone entrance. Inside, the air was warm and strange, like it hadn't moved in thousands of years. The walls were covered in glowing alien symbols, softly pulsing like a heartbeat. Suddenly, the ground shook. Dust fell from the ceiling. The floor beneath Ray cracked and gave way. He dropped fast, sliding into darkness. Ray groaned as he landed on something soft. Not dirt, not stone. He looked up and saw he had fallen into a chamber. It was round and glowing, and in the middle of it stood a giant pod like a cocoon made of crystal. And inside the pod was a girl. She looked peaceful. She was floating in a strange blue liquid. Her long silver hair danced like smoke. Her skin glowed slightly, and her face looked like it hadn't aged in centuries. Ray blinked. What the hell? As he stepped closer, the pod suddenly responded. The symbols on its surface turned red. The liquid inside started to bubble. No, wait, Ray shouted. I didn't mean to do anything. But it was too late. With a hiss, the pod opened. The fluid poured out and the girl collapsed into Ray's arms. She wasn't cold. She was burning with life. Her eyes opened slowly, bright golden eyes that didn't look human at all. Ray's heart pounded. Are you alive? She didn't answer. Instead, she inhaled sharply and then clutched his chest like she was starving. Energy rushed out of him. He screamed. His vision blurred. His strength drained fast, like something invisible was being sucked from his soul. But just before he blacked out, her grip loosened. Her eyes blinked again. Confusion crossed her face. She stared at her own hands, then at Ray, who had collapsed to the floor. She crawled closer and placed her hand on his forehead. No, she whispered, her voice deep and echoing. You're not like the others. Ray passed out. When he woke up, hours later, she was sitting beside him. Her body shimmered with light now. She was glowing stronger, healthier, but not aggressive. You awakened me, she said softly, and yet you live. Ray sat up slowly. I don't feel great. I took only a little, she said. Enough to rise. You should be proud. Many males perish. Ray blinked. Wait, what? She stood up tall, graceful, beautiful in a dangerous way. Her voice was calm, but her words were terrifying. I am Virelia, last daughter of the first star. I was locked in that chamber during the Great Silence. They feared me because I fed on life. Ray looked around. What kind of life? She looked down at him with glowing eyes. Male energy. Ray's stomach twisted. And now that you're awake, what happens? Virelia tilted her head. That depends on you. Suddenly, a blast came from the top of the temple. Military scouts. They were back, and they were coming fast. Virelia turned toward the noise and frowned. Others are near. They will attack. They always attack. Ray stood, still weak but ready. Then we better move. She raised one eyebrow. You will protect me? Ray smirked. You sucked half my life. You owe me answers. She smiled for the first time, and it was not a human smile. So be it, she said. Let us begin again. With war. The ground shook again as explosions rocked the surface. Above, the Immortal was awake, and nothing would ever be the same again. Asterisk, the ceiling cracked. dust rained down. Ray grabbed his rifle from the floor and looked up at Varelia. She didn't flinch. Her golden eyes glowed brighter, and her silver hair floated like it was underwater, though there was no breeze. "We have to move now," Ray shouted. Varelia tilted her head again, as if confused. "Why did they attack?" "They think you're dangerous," he said, dragging her toward a tunnel in the wall. "And after what I just saw, maybe they're right." "I am what I am," she replied softly. "But I have no desire to kill unless I must." Blaster fire echoed down from the top of the ruins. The soldiers had landed. Ray could hear their boots clanging against the ancient stone above. "They're coming through fast," he muttered. "We have maybe a minute." Varelia stepped forward and raised her hand. A stone wall shimmered, then melted away, revealing a hidden path. It glowed faintly with alien runes. "How did you do that?" Ray asked. "This temple was built to guard me," she said. "It listens to me." Ray gritted his teeth. "Great. Then tell it to keep him out." She smiled faintly and whispered a word in a language Ray couldn't understand. The entrance sealed behind them, stone folding over like water freezing in reverse. They hurried through the glowing hallway. The air buzzed with old energy, like the place was waking up again after thousands of years. Ray glanced at her. "You said you feed on male energy. Does that mean I'm going to drop dead any second?" She glanced back. "If I wanted to kill you, you'd already be bones." "Comforting," Ray muttered. "You gave freely," she added. "That matters." They reached a wide chamber with alien statues and a round door at the far end. Ray tapped his communicator, but there was only static. The temple blocked signals. Suddenly, Varelia stopped. Her expression changed, eyes narrowed, muscles tense. "What is it?" Ray asked. "They brought something," she said. "I can feel it, a machine." A loud whir echoed from the other side of the door. Then a high-pitched screech followed. By a boom, the wall trembled. Ray's eyes widened. "They brought an auto-sentry?" "I do not know your machines," she said, raising her hand again, "but I will deal with it." The door burst open, and a glowing turret floated in. It scanned the room and locked onto Varelia. Target acquired. Unknown entity. Hostile, the machine said in a cold, robotic voice. It fired, but before the shot hit her, Varelia moved. Ray didn't even see her steps. 1 second she was beside him, the next she was in front of the turret, her hand glowing. With a soft hiss, the machine stopped. It hovered a moment, then dropped to the floor like a lifeless toy. Ray blinked. "You fried its core?" She turned toward him, eyes still glowing. "It tried to harm me. I ended it." "Yeah," Ray said. "Remind me not to get on your bad side." But before she could answer, another explosion shook the hallway behind them. The soldiers were breaking through the hidden door. Ray grabbed her arm. "Come on. We have to get out before they trap us." They ran through the next door. This corridor was wider, filled with floating stones and glowing blue light. Ancient technology buzzed softly around them. "Where does this lead?" Ray asked. "To the surface," she said. "But not your surface." "What do you mean?" She stopped beside a glowing platform. "This temple was built on a ley line power that connects this world to others. I can take us far away, but only if you trust me." Ray stared at her. He didn't trust easily, but she could have killed him before. She did in single quotes T. Behind them, the soldiers' voices grew louder. Ray nodded. "Fine, I trust you." She placed her hand on the platform. Light swirled around them like a tornado. The sound of the soldiers faded, and in the blink of an eye they were gone. They reappeared in a dark forest, under alien trees with glowing purple leaves. Ray staggered forward, dizzy. "Where are we?" Varelia knelt on the mossy ground. "Hey, place I once called home." Ray looked around. Is it safe? No, she said. Nothing is safe now. I'm awake again. That means others may awaken too. Ray felt a chill. Others like you? He asked. She stood up slowly. No, some far worse. Ray stared into the glowing forest, confused and worried. The leaves above him shimmered in purple and silver, and strange lights floated gently in the air like fireflies. It was beautiful, yes, but also silent in a way that made his skin crawl. This is your home? Ray asked. Virelia nodded slowly. Long ago. Before I was sealed. Before the Silence War. Ray looked around. You said others might awaken too. What does that mean? She walked ahead, her silver hair glowing under the moonlight. I was not the only one created. I was one of 7. We were made to consume energy, to protect the Empire from invaders. You're saying there are 6 more like you? No, she said. 5 more. One of us was destroyed by the creators themselves. He grew too hungry, too wild. Ray followed her down a small hill covered in blue grass. And the other? 5? Are they still sleeping like you were? I don't know, she answered softly. But if I'm awake, something is changing. The balance is shifting. Ray looked up at the sky. A second moon was rising green and cracked. And this place, is it really another world? It's a mirror world, she explained. A reflection of the real one, hidden between dimensions. Only ancient energy can open the path. Ray rubbed his face. So we escaped Earth ... But we're not really safe. Virelia stopped suddenly. She crouched low and motioned for him to stay quiet. Ray froze. What is it? She whispered. We're not alone. The air grew colder. The lights in the trees blinked out. The forest went completely silent. From the shadows, something stepped out. It looked human, but its skin was black like oil, and its eyes glowed red. It moved smoothly, like liquid wrapped in flesh. Ray raised his blaster. What the hell is that? Virelia didn't answer. She stood tall, her hands glowing softly. The creature hissed and stepped forward. You awakened. Her. Its voice was broken, like it was speaking through shattered glass. Ray aimed. Back off. The creature didn't stop. It launched forward at inhuman speed. Ray fired. The plasma bolt passed through the creature, but it didn't fall. It reformed, its body turning to shadow and back to solid again. Virelia raised her hand and released a wave of golden light. The creature screamed, writhing in pain as its body cracked and split into smoke. It vanished into the trees. Ray lowered his blaster, breathing hard. What was that? A shadow burn, she said. A creature made from corrupted male energy. The war created many things. This forest is not empty. It's full of those left behind. Ray swallowed. And they want you dead? No, she said. They want to feed on me. Just like I feed on others. I'm rich to them. He looked at her, uneasy. So we're being hunted now. She nodded. Yes. We must reach the old tower. It's the last stronghold of the Watchers. They may still have records. Weapons. Ray followed her deeper into the forest. As they walked, he noticed the plants around them slowly leaning toward her, reacting to her presence. Life seemed to flow where she stepped. You're not just some weapon, Ray said. You're something more. She glanced at him. What do you mean? He shrugged. You had the power to drain me dry. You didn't. You could have killed that creature faster. You didn't. She was quiet for a moment. Then she said, Long ago, I was a monster. I fed without asking. I lived only to consume. But when I was sealed, I dreamed. Ray looked at her. I dreamed of being something else, she whispered. Something better. He didn't say anything. But his expression softened. Suddenly, the ground shook. A deep, rumbling sound echoed from the north. Virelia stopped. That came from the tower. Ray tightened his grip on his weapon. Then, "We're running out of time." They began to run. The glowing trees turned dark behind them as the forest shifted. Creatures moved in the shadows. Ray didn't know what waited at that tower, but he had a feeling the war was far from over. The forest cleared suddenly, revealing a massive stone tower rising from the middle of a dry lake. Its surface was cracked and covered in glowing blue roots, pulsing slowly like veins. Half the tower had crumbled, and the top looked like it had been torn apart by claws or worse. Ray stopped beside Virelia. "That doesn't look like a stronghold anymore." "No," she said quietly. "It's wounded. Something got here before us." They moved across the lakebed, their boots crunching dry earth. Every step closer made Ray feel heavier, like something was pressing against his chest. As they reached the base of the tower, Ray looked up. What was this place? "This was the seat of the Watchers," Virelia replied. "They kept records of the First Empire. They studied immortals like me. They built safeguards in case we turned." Ray raised an eyebrow. "So, people who knew how to kill you?" She gave a soft laugh. "Yes, but they were also wise. They wanted balance, not control." Ray stepped into the tower's ruined entrance. Inside, the air was thick and hot. The walls were covered with symbols that looked like they were melting. Energy flowed between the cracks, wild, broken. Suddenly, a robotic voice echoed from above. "Intruder detected. Identity scan in progress." Ray froze. A beam of light scanned him from head to toe. Then Virelia. One human male. One classified entity. Alpha Star Class Energy Construct. Warning. Subject should not be active. Virelia narrowed her eyes. "Deactivate scan." The tower paused. Voice print recognized Virelia. Energy construct. Status awakened. Warning, containment protocols offline. Danger level maximum. The floor lit up. Circles of energy surrounded them. Ray stepped back. Oh. A blue barrier suddenly formed behind them, trapping them inside the chamber. "Containment procedure?" Ray said. "This place thinks you're the problem." "It always did," she muttered. The far wall opened slowly, revealing a large machine half crushed, but still active. Its arms sparked with electricity, and its face was a metal mask carved to look like a human's. "Containment Unit 9 activated. Target, Virelia. Prepare for termination." Ray aimed his blaster. "I really hate towers," the machine charged. Its first swing nearly hit Virelia, but she slid to the side, her body glowing with energy. She struck back with a pulse of golden light, but the machine's armor absorbed it. Ray fired 3 quick shots, hitting the robot's side. Sparks flew, but it didn't stop. "We can't fight it head-on," Virelia said. "Its core is protected." Ray looked around. "There must be a control hub, some override." Virelia pointed to the upper platform above them. "The console. It controls the defense system. I'll go." Ray said, already running toward the spiral stairs. "Wait!" Virelia shouted, but it was too late. The robot turned and fired a blast of force. It missed Ray by inches but smashed the stairs behind him. He barely made it to the platform as the steps crumbled. Ray reached the console and tapped the symbols. Of course, alien language. He guessed, and guessed again. The console beeped. Override accepted. The machine below paused. Virelia blasted it again. This time, its core opened slightly. Ray saw it, a glowing orb deep in its chest. "Now!" he yelled. Virelia's entire body lit up like a star. She raised her hand and fired a single focused beam of golden energy. The beam pierced the robot's chest. It shuddered, then collapsed. The energy around them vanished. The blue wall flickered out. Ray climbed down carefully and landed beside her. That was close. She nodded, her face pale. Too close. My energy is not endless. He looked at her, concerned. You're weaker. Now? I gave too much in that blast, she said. And I haven't fed since you. Ray took a step back. Okay. Maybe we find some batteries instead? She gave a weak laugh. Not how it works. Ray looked around the ruined chamber. Can we still access records? Yes, she said, pointing to a glowing doorway. That's the archive room. They entered. Inside, floating symbols danced in the air. Memory crystals glowed, showing ancient recordings. Virelia moved to one and placed her hand on it. A hologram appeared. A human-like being stood before. Council, the immortals must sleep, he said. Their hunger cannot be controlled forever. We must seal them, scatter them, and hide the keys. Ray watched silently. Then another voice spoke. If they ever wake, we will need a balance. One who can give and resist, one with no power. But great heart. Ray blinked. Are they talking about me? Virelia turned to him, shocked. They made a failsafe, she said slowly. A human key, someone immune to full drain, a protector. She stepped closer to him, eyes wide. It's you, Ray. You're the failsafe. Asterisk Ray stared at Virelia in disbelief. You're saying I was meant to wake you up? She looked just as stunned. Not just me, maybe all of us. Or maybe only the one who could still choose. Ray stepped away, uneasy. No, I'm just a scout. I fly patrol missions. I'm not some chosen hero. Virelia slowly walked around the glowing archive crystal. But the records are clear. A human would be the balanced someone whose energy could resist full drain. Someone with a soul strong enough to bind an immortal without dying. Ray laughed, but it wasn't a happy laugh. I didn't sign up to babysit a star-eating alien girl. Her eyes narrowed slightly. I didn't ask to be awakened. They stood in silence for a moment. Then Ray sighed and looked down. I didn't mean that. I know, she replied softly. You're afraid. Who wouldn't be? He asked, spreading his arms. I just found out I'm a walking battery. And the only thing between you and the world is me. Virelia looked at him, something different in her eyes now. I don't want to hurt anyone, Ray. Not anymore. A soft chime echoed through the room. One of the archive crystals glowed brighter and began to spin. Virelia turned to it. This one just activated, she said. Ray walked over and watched as the crystal projected a hologram, a map of the stars. A red light blinked on one of the distant planets. What is that? He asked. Virelia's face darkened. Another one of us has awakened. Ray swallowed hard. And I'm guessing they don't have a friendly human key nearby. No, she said. And if they've already begun feeding, the crystal changed. Images flashed, buildings crumbling, cities collapsing in silence. Males falling to the ground, drained and lifeless. Ray's fists clenched. We have to stop it. Virelia looked surprised. You would help me? Even after everything? He met her gaze. I've seen what you could have done to me, but you didn't. You're trying to change. That means something. A slow smile spread across her face. You're strange, human? Yeah, well, Ray shrugged. I get that a lot. Suddenly, the tower shook. Dust fell from the ceiling. Virelia's head snapped up. They found us. Ray grabbed his blaster. Military again? No, she whispered. Worse. A loud shriek echoed through the tower walls, high-pitched and unnatural. Ray felt it deep in his chest, like it was trying to squeeze his heart. Then the lights dimmed. From the broken entrance, a shadow entered. It wasn't like the last shadow burn. This one was larger. Its form shifted like smoke, but had solid claws. Glowing green eyes fixed on them. Virelia. It hissed. She stepped forward. Do I know you? The creature growled. I was Kale. I fed with you, fought beside you. But I never slept. I changed. Ray aimed his weapon. Stay back. Kale turned toward Ray and laughed a horrible sound. You brought a human? Do you plan to cuddle him into peace?
Virelia raised her hand. This one saved me.
Kale's body surged with dark power. Then I will take him from you. And watch you fall. He lunged. Ray fired, but the blast passed through Kale's smoky form. Virelia leapt in front of him and met Kale with a burst of gold light. Their powers clashed. Sparks exploded. Ray was thrown back against the wall, wind knocked out of him. Virelia cried out as Kale's claws sliced through her shoulder. She struck back, but Kale didn't seem to feel pain. I am not bound by hunger anymore, Kale said. I became hunger. Ray crawled toward his fallen blaster. Virelia, she was weakening. Her light dimmed. Kale was draining her fast. Ray felt something stir inside him, a burning energy. Like something ancient was waking in his blood. He stood. Kale laughed. Do you think you can stop me, little battery? Ray stepped forward and grabbed Kale's smoky arm. Suddenly, Kale screamed. Light burst from Ray's body, pure white. Kale's form writhed, twisted, and broke into ash. The silence returned. Virelia dropped to her knees. You released a binding surge. Ray fell beside her, panting. I don't even know what I did. You acted as a key, she said. You unmade his energy. Ray looked down at his glowing hands. So, I am the failsafe, she nodded slowly. And now the others will sense it too. He clenched his jaw. Then we'd better find them before they find us. Asterisk. The next morning, the air was different. Ray stood at the edge of a cliff outside the broken tower. A cold wind blew through the glowing forest, and the skies above rippled like a disturbed mirror. Storm clouds, but not natural ones, they pulsed. With energy and light like the sky itself was being rewired. Virelia stepped beside him, quiet and calm. Her shoulder was still healing from Kale's attack, the skin glowing where her wound had closed. They all know now, she said. Ray nodded slowly. Because of what I did. Because of what you are, she corrected. You're not just the failsafe. You're a signal. A signal for what? He asked. She turned her golden eyes toward the sky. A challenge. The others will come. Not to destroy you, but to test you. To see if you can control them or destroy them. Ray gave a bitter laugh. Great, I'm bait. She looked at him gently. No, your hope. They didn't speak for a while. The sky continued to shift. Far in the distance, strange lights fell from the clouds like stars dropping from the heavens. Ray finally asked, How many are coming? 5, she said. 5 immortals remain. Not all will be like Kale, but not all will be peaceful either. And if I fail? Then the galaxy burns, she answered without hesitation. He sighed. Well, no pressure. Suddenly, the ground rumbled beneath their feet. Not an explosion, a landing. They both turned. Across the valley, a massive circular ship descended. It was black and silent, its shape smooth and ancient. The trees bent under its weight, though it made no sound. Light burst from its underside, forming a glowing bridge that reached to the ground. Virelia's voice tightened. That's not human tech. You know it? Ray asked. She nodded. Yes, it belongs to Delra, second-born of the Star Womb. She was special. She drained only the strongest. Kings, generals, leaders. Ray raised an eyebrow. And I'm guessing she didn't ask nicely? She saw herself as royalty, Virelia said. And now she's come to claim her crown. They walked carefully through the valley, moving toward the ship. As they got closer, a tall figure stepped out from the light bridge. She was taller than Virelia, with long white hair that looked like smoke. Her skin shimmered silver, and her eyes were cold blue fire. She wore armor made of crystal and bone. She looked down at Ray like he was a pet. "So, this is the human?" Delra said, her voice echoing unnaturally. Virelia stepped between them. "He is not yours to judge." Delra smiled, amused. "You defend him? How adorable. Has your hunger made you soft?" Ray stayed calm. "If you came here to talk, I'm listening. If you came here to fight, I'm ready." Delra laughed softly. "Oh, you are brave, but foolish. You don't command me." "I answer only to strength." She raised her hand. Energy crackled around her fingers. Ray stepped forward. "Then let's test it." Without waiting, she attacked. Virelia shielded Ray as the blast hit. It threw both of them backward. The ground cracked under the force. Ray coughed and pulled himself up. "You okay?" Virelia nodded weakly. "She's stronger than Kale. More controlled. She feeds while she fights." Ray's eyes glowed faintly again. The power inside him was building, just like before. Delra floated down from the ship, her eyes glowing with power. "One last chance, human. Submit your energy, and I may let you live." Ray clenched his fists. "Try me." She launched at him, but this time, Ray didn't dodge. He let her grab him, and the moment she did, her body jerked back. White light exploded from Ray's chest, rushing through her arms like fire. Delra screamed, but unlike Kale, she didn't vanish. She held on. She absorbed the light and smiled. "I like this," she whispered. "You're not a threat, you're a gift." Virelia shouted, "Ray, let go!" But he couldn't. Delra had locked onto his core. He felt himself slipping his. Thoughts fading. Virelia grabbed his hand. Her golden light flared. "You will not take him." The two immortal powers, gold and silver, collided. A shockwave burst through the valley. Everything went white. When the light faded, Ray was on the ground, gasping. Delra lay a few feet away, unconscious. Her armor cracked, her body steaming. Virelya stood, trembling, her skin dim. Ray sat up slowly. What happened?" "You broke her pride," Virelia said. "And I bound her power. She recover, but she will not challenge us again." Ray looked at Delra's still form. "So that's one down." Virelia turned toward the sky, and 4 more to go. The firelight flickered in the cave as Ray sat across from Virelia. Delra was resting nearby, surrounded by protective energy runes Virelia had carved into the stone. Her silver glow was dim. Peaceful now. Ray stretched his sore arms and leaned back. "That's 2 immortals we faced. 3 more are still out there." Virelia nodded slowly. "Yes, but something has changed." Ray looked at her. "What do you mean?" She placed her hand on her chest. "I feel them watching. They know your energy now. They know its purity and its danger." Ray frowned. "You said I'm a failsafe, that I was created or chosen to bring balance. What does that really mean?" Virelia looked down. "It means you're the only one who can truly stop us, not by killing but by binding." Ray's eyes narrowed. "Binding? Our kind? We were made without balance. We take and take and take. But you ... you're something we were never meant to understand. You don't feed on power. You give it. And when you give willingly, we change." Ray blinked. "You mean ... I changed you?" Virelia nodded softly. "Yes, and not just me." Even Delra, her hunger faded. She felt calm. Ray rubbed his face. "So if I can reach the others, if I let them connect to me, maybe I can stop this war before it starts." "It is dangerous," Virelia warned. "If even one resists, they could drain you completely." Ray stood. "I'd rather try and fail than do nothing." Just then, the cave began to shake. Outside, the sky split open not with fire, but with soft, pulsing white light. A portal opened. From the light stepped three beings. They weren't monsters. They were beautiful, glowing, each unique in shape, skin, and color, but all powerful. They stood tall, silent. Watching. Ray stepped forward. Varelia held his arm. "Are you sure?" He nodded. "I have to." He walked out of the cave and faced them. The three immortals stepped closer. One of them, with pale green eyes and wings made of light, spoke. "You are the key." Ray nodded. "Yes, but I'm not your enemy." Another, tall with glowing orange skin and spiral horns, asked, "Why do you not run? You know we feed." "I don't fear you," Ray said, "because I believe you can change." The third, smaller and silent, stepped forward. She touched Ray's hand. A surge of power rushed through him, but he didn't resist. He gave. His energy didn't fade, it spread. The other two touched him too. Then something happened. Their bodies lit up, not with hunger, but with warmth. They stepped back, eyes wide. "We are full," the winged one whispered, "and content." Ray dropped to one knee, breathing hard. Varelia rushed to his side, holding him. He smiled up at her. It worked. The three immortals knelt together, lowering their heads. "We accept your bond," they said in unison. "You are now our guide." The sky grew calm. The world sighed in relief. Days passed. Varelia, Delra, and the others built a small sanctuary on the edge of the valley. The storm skies had cleared. The forest glowed peacefully again. Ray stood beside a new monument carved in stone, a symbol of unity, 5 stars circling a single white flame. Varelia walked to his side. "You did what no one thought possible," she said. "I didn't do it alone," he replied. "You believed first," she turned to him. "You changed everything, not with war, not with fear, but with choice." Ray smiled. "So what now?" She looked at the horizon. "Now we live, we learn, we protect." Ray looked at her. "And if more threats come?" Varelia grinned. "Then we face them, together." She took his hand in hers. Warm, steady. And for the first time in countless ages, the immortal no longer felt hungry. She felt whole.